to episode single 077 of Cinema Curse. We're back with James Bond Club Volume 5, which features The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, and the films that ripped the series off. I'm your Wicked Game Master, Connor Lloyd Crews, and with me today is Bri Robert.
Hey guys, how are you?
Scott Heaton. Whoa. That was weird. It does not want me to highlight Scott for some reason. We're gonna go to Luna Nightingale.
You're about TV, Mr. Bond.
Jason Steele.
Whoa.
And I don't know what happened to Scott. I think Scott I think Scott disappeared.
Jason's super low in my audio, by the way, my mix.
Oh, he sounds fine to me on my end.
Okay.
It's been 945 days since the AMPTP. Wait, what? It's been 945 days since the strike into the AMPTP still sucks. Scott, I introed you, but you had disappeared. So I'm sorry about that. Oh, Scott might be behind still.
Yeah, I don't know. My connection is bad right now.
I don't know what's going on over there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
It might just need to even out a little. I said that bit. I want to thank Marina Sakamoto and her band Shunkin for their song Curse off the EP She Nods that we use for our opening. Thank you for that. Rough start. All these little connection issues, but everything's sounding good at least. And how's everybody doing?
Good. Not too bad.
Yeah, I'm doing better than I was last time for sure. All right.
Yeah, I'm working on I'm about to do a show next weekend, so that's cool. Excited for that.
Oh yeah. Well, I hope I'm pushing the right button, because we're gonna real quick go to
grow up, 007.
a first edition of Dad Thoughts for the episode, because my dad last episode was sick in the hospital, but he's doing a lot better now, and he wrote his thoughts. And he gave them to me anyway, so these are his thoughts on the last ones, just to be immortalized, even though we're not talking about these movies today. He says, I guess I'm in the minority as I liked Diamonds Are Forever, even though it had almost no resemblance to the book. The villain, played by Charles Gray, wasn't all that great in my opinion. However, he really liked Mr. Kidd and Mr. Wint. He said they added some comedic flavor to the film. All in all, I would rate Diamonds in the middle of the Bond films as far as quality. He really did not like Live and Let Die. Its only redeeming quality was the music. He notes its racism, which is, interesting considering he's like a 70-year-old white guy from Texas. It was the first Bond film.
It's hard to miss.
Yeah.
That's how open it is.
It was the first Bond film for Roger Moore. He was a very good actor and had a memorable performance. He just doesn't fit the persona, what most of us have as James Bond. Yaphet Kotto he liked. Several other of the actors he compliments. He doesn't get specific, though. The second best thing about the film was the extended boat chase. He loved the boat chase. Although I think the local sheriff who wanted to arrest Bond was a little too backwoods for me. So even he also has a problem with J.W. Pepper. This film also bore a little resemblance.
We'll never see him again.
Yeah, at least, at least we never have to worry about seeing J.W. Pepper in any movie ever again. This film also bore a little resemblance to the book. I would rate this film at or near the bottom of all the Bond films. Well, speaking of at or near the bottom of all the Bond films, let's talk about Man with the Golden Gun, which does have a really good. I have a good background. It's just like I might keep this one to stand by. This little probably like one of the couple things in the movie I really like. The weird like spook house he owns. For some reason. Yeah, I think this movie sucks. We also watched this like a month ago, and I waited till this last weekend to edit the notes. And I think I was drinking like a little too much when I watched this one. So when I came back to the notes this weekend, I was like, what? And so I they're much more. It's funny. The Man with the Golden Gun notes started as 4 pages and became 3 when I edited them, and then The Spy Who Loved Me was the opposite, because that one we watched last night, an appropriate level of drunk, and edited this morning, and it just expanded a little bit. So I probably leaving some stuff out here. There's every once in a while I have to like note something like, oh yeah, I forgot that this thing is happening also. What do people think about this one in general? I think we all kind of agree it sucks.
Yeah, it's mediocre more than anything. Because like when you say sucks, that like it's not so bad in the way that some of the Bond movies are like they cross the line and like, well, this is just ridiculous. And this one, my letterbox review was just that it's basically just 2 hours of mediocrity. I didn't realize it came out so soon after Live and Let Die. It's like the next year. Mm-hmm. And it kind of feels that way, that they just kind of like, they were on sort of like a process roller of just like, next Bond movie. Yeah, it just does not. There's nothing about it that's remarkable.
Yeah, I agree.
The guy with a golden gun, so you got what it says in the tin.
Yeah,
there is a guy, and he does have a golden gun. Well, let's start talking about this.
I was going to say about that guy, it's very funny because that's what he wants to be known as the man with the golden gun, but everyone just talks about his third nipple. Like that seems, that really does seem to be his claim to fame.
It's definitely the movie begins, we meet Christopher Lee and his third nipple as Scaramanga, who I've shortened to Scar throughout a lot of my notes because I got tired of writing out Scaramanga. He's on a beach. He's there with a girl and his butler. Am I allowed to say manservant in 2026? So it's that guy from Fantasy Island. Is the plane? That dude.
The plane. J.D. Vance.
Yeah. Nick Nack is his name. He brings a gangster to talk to Scar, but the gangster ambushes him. Actually, it's a weird game that Nick Nack and Scar are playing where they have like a spook house, so like a spooky skeleton and like all these mirrors. It's like that one Orson Welles movie, sort of. I think is what it's.
Okay, I just want to bring attention to the fact that this is like the first James Bond movie I've seen where none of these names make any sense.
It is they're pretty ridiculous. These are I mean, Live and Let Die did have Tee-hee, but
that's true, but I think Tee-hee is more forgivable than Nick Nack.
Yeah, I actually do kind of agree. Things in a Western saloon where Scar finally uses his golden to kill the gangster before we tease a confrontation with Bond. Opening. The song is okay. We'll talk about the song later. I want to talk about the song when we talk about the music in general, because I have a hot take about the song, which is that it kind of stresses me out. It has. I'm gonna save my jokes for later. I want to locate them in one. This is another Guy Hamilton joint, his final one, which is fair considering he never even got close to as good as Goldfinger. He did Goldfinger, and then he did Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, and Man with the Golden Gun, which is definitely not. I don't know. He should have just done the first one. So after the credits, Bond meets with M. I guess Scar is a carny. He became an assassin, and now there's like a gold bullet with 007's number on it. His golden gun only uses gold bullets because he's another one of these fucking freaks who's like obsessed with one thing. Bond is dismissed as a liability. He's looking for like a solar energy scientist named Gibson, but also sort of sent. He's sort of like fuck off, go kill this assassin on your free time.
Yeah, it's kind of what M goes like. Hey, you're being hunted by this assassin, so we can't use it for missions. So go kill that guy.
Yeah.
Just go kill him.
Yeah.
Or let him kill you. I don't know. But right now, you have no use to us. Yeah, it was sort of like you can't get like the government of like London and England can't say, "Oh, we gave you the mission to kill this person." We can't just have you go murder people, but we need you go murder somebody.
Moneypenny gives Bond a lead. In Beirut, a man named Bill Fairbanks was killed. They couldn't recover the bullet though. The bullets trail in Beirut. Bond is being trailed as he talks to a belly dancer as the golden bullet from Fairbanks's murder, I believe, is what's happening here. He gulps it down and gets in a big fight, but wins. Bond goes to Q Branch for bullet analysis and is directed to a Portuguese gunmaker named Lazar who lives in Macau. Bond finds Lazar and threatens to kill him with a big cool gun, until Lazar tells him how he hands the bullets over, how he's getting a lead on where Scaramanga is. Which doesn't really make sense, because in the point of the plot that Scar wants to fight him, it's fine. You had another point earlier, Jason, and definitely bring it up when we get there, because I think you had a good note about this film. In Hong Kong, Bond follows the bullets. He sees them pass to a woman at a casino, Anders. She was the girlfriend from the beach at the beginning. Bond follows her with the help of Goodnight, played by Britt Eklund, who we all mostly know, who most famously played Willow in The Wicker Man. I don't know if that's actually what she's most famous for, but in my heart she is. They also start doing this. There's like this John Scarpenter? What the fuck is wrong with me today? There's this John Carpenter score where it's like that little like ding 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 like piercing synth note. Anyways, Bond breaks into Anders' room like the pervert he is, but she has a gun. He flips the tables and gets info about Scaramanga. He's at bottoms up, and Anders will deliver the bullets to him there. Bond spies Knick-Knack as he's watched by Scaramanga. Bond is almost killed by the golden gun, but Scar shoots a rando to scare Bond off. Police show up and arrest Bond, but they're working for M. They bring him to M's fucking new office. I both kind of like, I don't know how I feel about the trend, and they start doing it in these like more movies where M has all these like satellite offices that don't make any sense. Yeah. I think it's like kind of funny, but it's also like, what? Well, like, why?
Yeah, because they're all essentially the same setup, just like it's on a sub. Yeah. It's in a laundromat. It's in an Egyptian.
It's in an old Egyptian ruin.
Penny has her position, and then you walk in, and the office looks
her little
just
vestibule.
About the same. Yeah.
Exactly the sort of stuff that would happen in like Get Smart or something.
Yeah. It is a cool set. I will say that, like the sideways, it reminds me of those like Ripley's Believe It or Not. They're on like they're on the wreckage of this like famous wreckage of the Queen Elizabeth, and so all the sets inside are all tilted, which seems impractical.
What like gets away with it is that the sets are usually pretty fun.
Yeah.
That like it's like, oh, we're gonna take this idea and have a little fun with it.
We find out that the rando shot was actually Gibson, that scientist from earlier. He had the movie's doohickey, which is called a Solix agitator, that he was about to trade, but Scaramanga killed him, and Knick-Knack stole it. Gibson worked for High Fat, a industrialist, and High Fat would have had the money to hire Scar, so they decided to investigate him. Also, Scaramanga has his own secret abandoned boat hideout, which I like. He has a different abandoned boat that's a hideout. Do you think when whichever one of them got there first, they looked at the other one and were like, "No, we're gonna go with this one."
And the neighbor is probably like, "Son of a bitch!
Yeah,
are you kidding me?"
High Fat's big mountain castle. Bond just heads on in and meets High Fat while wearing a fake third nip to fool him into thinking Bond is Scaramanga. but Scar is already there. He knows everything. Later, Bond is attacked by Knick Knack and some sumos and knocked out. I'm kind of breezing over Lieutenant Hip here. He's played by kind of a famous, I think he's a Hong Kong actor, because he's kind of a non-entity for a lot of this movie, like compared to, he has some karate-knowing nieces, which are kind of cool, but compared to a lot of other Bond allies, he doesn't really do a lot. He just... you compare him to like a Tiger Tanaka and You Only Live Twice, or the one dude in From Russia with Love. I think they make much bigger impressions. Bond wakes up to a martial arts demonstration, which I think was like the vibe. I think was what they were going for with this movie, in the same way with like Blaxploitation with Live and Let Die.
Which kind of like just makes me wonder about like the Golden Gun, and just like when they're going to like trying to do more like Hong Kong Asian stuff, and I don't know. Yeah, like I know what you mean. Where like because with Live and Let Die definitely was like, oh, this is a black exploitation movie with Bond in it.
Yeah.
With this one, they kind of like dipped their toe in it, but they didn't really like. They just kind of like nodded their head to it.
Which is probably for the best in terms of like our modern cringe level, because I'm not saying this movie is great, but it's not as bad as Live and Let Die. When it comes to that,
I think you're right. They were not. They were not at the level to handle racism back then.
Bond is forced to participate in this martial arts demonstration, but then he uses that as an excuse to escape and get in another boat chase. Roger Moore's favorite, Bond gets a kid to help him, then throws him off like a dick. I'm leaving out someone who technically appears here because I'm just saving all my thoughts about him for his later appearance. Meanwhile, High Fat decides to lay low, but Scaramanga uses his golden gun, which we see him assemble from like a lighter and other personal items, to kill High Fat and take over his company. Later, at a hotel or whatever, Goodnight rejects Bond at first, but when she shows up in her hotel, she's like, whatever. But then Anders shows up to drink.
What?
Sorry, sometimes I write the notes and I forget what I wrote. I wrote, but then Anders shows up to drain Bond's balls instead.
Yes.
Well, Goodnight hides in the closet. And also Anders wants him to kill Scaramanga, and he wants the Solex. And I guess there's some rigmarole about she sent a bullet to London MI6, which I guess explains them showing up at the end. Next day at a Muay Thai event, Bond is meeting Anders, but she's already dead, killed by Scar, who shows up to talk to Bond. Meanwhile, Bond notices the Solex on the floor because I guess what's supposed to have happened, because it's kind of stupid, is that they knew she had the Solex, which is like a little device. It's like a little Game Boy almost. And it's in her bag, and then Scar shoots her from like across this auditorium, and then I guess she slumped over, and the thing fell out of her bag into like the peanuts or whatever that are on the fucking floor. And then when they got there, they like looked in the bag and didn't look on the floor, and that's why it's on the floor when Bond gets there. That's the only way I can explain what's happening in this scene.
Yeah,
is that what's happening?
She's dead when he gets there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But basically they prop her up and check her bag, but they don't like look on the floor. Like,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
It's probably dirty. No one should touch that shit.
Yeah, he's like, "Ooh, gross. I'll let Bond get it for me."
Gum and shit? No.
I'm not touching that. Bond's able to smuggle it to Hip and Goodnight using peanuts. Goodnight, with the Solex now, it's thrown into a trunk of a car by Scaramanga. Bond steals a car from a local dealership. The car's being tested by America's favorite, the man we all had a 2-movie love affair with, J.W. Pepper, here to ruin a great spiral flip stunt by being a fucking bozo.
God. My God.
I think that's one of the greatest like cinema like actual cinema sins.
Yes, no, 100%.
Like real actual cinema sins. One of the greatest car stunts ever filmed, and they have this guy in the scene, and then they also have this fucking slide whistle that they
sucks.
play.
If I was the stuntman, I would sue the producers, and I feel like
I would beat that actor to death.
Case. Yeah. Just like, are you kidding me? I did that, but
yeah, it's a truly incredible stunt.
Like this is one of the things
to explain
that,
it maybe better for people who don't know. It's they jump over a lake, and as they jump over, they do a barrel roll in the car.
And it's been a while since I've seen this movie, so I remembered them messing up like this stunt with the sound effects and all of that goofy stuff. But what I didn't remember is like how good the lead up to it was. You have all of this like genuinely like good intense music being played, building up the momentum, and it was like they just needed to continue that into the stunt, and it would have been a genuinely incredible moment in the film. And instead, all the music stops, and you just end up with this wacky sound effect that plays instead.
As we see, like him
the momentum,
falling around in the car, like his like butt to camera,
just rolling around the car. Yeah, terrible.
Scaramanga turns his car into a plane and fucks off, which looks kind of funny. Goodnight opens the trunk in the air. She's like, oh, fuck. Closes it. After the chase, JW tries to handle the local police, but gets arrested instead. And I like to think he died in a Thai prison.
That's canon. You know what? We're just... If that would have been the start of The Spy Who Loved Me,
yeah,
5.5 stars. I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah.
He tries to do his shtick to like whoever's in there, and they just beat him to death. And Bond, tracking a homing beacon Goodnight has, flies to Scar's island. And the Chinese tell Scar of his arrival. Do you want to mention the island stuff you were talking about?
Yeah, they really wanted Scaramanga to have like a menacing island with some super weapon on it, but he's just like an assassin. He's just an assassin. So he specifically mentions that he knows some other supervillain, some guy who's developing this weapon, and he's leasing the island from him. So he's just living there. He's a tenant who's also acting as like the steward of the... But it's not even his thing. It's not even like...
Hey, it's listen, you're renting this place. If you fuck with the laser beam, I'm going to be pissed. I told you. That's not for the tenants. I just keep it here because I don't have any other place to put it. Maybe.
But they are expensive. That's why I have to lease the island, because I can't just have this island with this machine on here.
Maybe
just sucking up my money.
Maybe there is a version of this where that was supposed to be. I know around this time is when, because Spectre, the organization, first appears in the book Thunderball, and the rights for Thunderball were in question, as we talked about that episode. I'm going to burp here at one point in the middle of this. Just buckle up for that. And they couldn't use Spectre anymore in the movies because it's rights reasons. And so I wonder if that was supposed to be Blofeld, but they just did a bad job of suggesting it. It also doesn't really make sense.
No. It also their concept of what solar power is also doesn't make sense, but this is early days for solar power, so
Knick-Knack is waiting for Bond with champagne. Scar shows Bond around his big cool room that uses solar power for a big laser, which Scaramanga uses to blow up Bond's plane. Scar is going to use the laser beam for villain stuff, I guess. I don't know. They're kind of vague about what exactly his villain plan is. It's just like he's like, I'll figure out how to get. He's like, listen. Solex agitator, laser beam, question mark, profit.
Well, it's like Jason said, he's an assassin, so he's kind of like dipping his toe into supervillainy, but he doesn't quite know what he's doing. He knows how to kill people, and he wants to level up, but he's still kind of working out the details.
Yeah, and again, like the whole facility, it isn't even like his. Like, he's been put in charge of it, but
yeah, that's not his spook house.
No.
Later, Scaramanga proposes a duel, pistols at dawn. Killing Bond will be his masterpiece. The duel begins on the beach, but Scaramanga quickly disappears into his weird labyrinth. There's this weird kind of bit that they hint at a couple times in the movie where Knick-Knack seems to be okay with Bond killing Scaramanga because then Knick-Knack will inherit the island or something.
Yeah, because it needs a steward, so whoever actually runs the island, like, it's going to go to Knick-Knack next. He's like next in line.
Yeah.
Bond poses as his own statue and kills Scaramanga. Meanwhile, Goodnight escapes her captor, who's some guy, but in doing so causes the solar energy factory to have like a meltdown. Now reunited with Bond, they grab the Solex, prevent the meltdown from doing anything other than just exploding the island, and they fuck off in Scar's Chinese junk, which is a real name of a type of boat. And
Goodnight is such a weird character. It seems like they were bringing her on to maybe be like a regular, but I don't know, because like
so much of Goodnight's character felt to me like it was written by like a really intense misogynist who had a particular woman in mind that he wanted to punish. And there's so many like bits with Goodnight throughout the movie where it really feels like someone's getting their hate on for a particular woman who dismissed him at some point.
I felt like she kind of felt like Sharon Tate's character in the spy movie that they watch in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You know, because like kind of like a spy, but also bumbling. She helps Bond, but she also is captured a lot. He has to save her a lot, and it doesn't work.
There's a lot of things like her ending up in the cuck closet earlier on in the movie, or her like being like sexually menaced by the large black man in the facility, and things like that, where it's just it really feels like she's there to like hang out in a bikini and have bad things happen to her.
I also kind of feel like this movie, as like with any James Bond film, does seem like it's written by a misogynist who just kind of hates women. But I also feel like this one, as opposed to other ones, feels more ostensibly racist as well. Like, especially with the karate scene.
For sure. There's definitely like.
Yeah, this movie has a lot of misogyny and racism, just like many of the Bond films, but it feels more vicious in this movie. Like it feels more like intentionally jabbing as opposed to like
like they meant it as opposed to just cultural. Like, I don't know what to tell you, we were misogynistic and racist in the '60s. It just like that was our base level. But this one seems like they kind of had an extra grind.
Yeah, that was my feeling throughout the movie.
Well, it ends with Bond and Goodnight trying to get it on, but Knick-Knack ruins the fun. He tries to get him. Bond puts him in a little basket on the sail of the ship, and M calls Bond, and Bond makes a sex joke. The end. I don't know. It's just kind of boring. There's just like not a lot of like. Yeah. There's like not a lot of stuff that happens in the middle. I like the fight. I like him. I like the spook house stuff at the beginning and end, and I like the car flip. Where they ruin it. They fuck it up. They figure out a way to fuck up a stunt that good. It feels like it would be hard to. They do some other corny stuff in these Roger Moore movies, but I don't know if they ever directly take something that would be cool if done another way and make it not cool by doing it so bad.
The other stuff is corny. This is like general sabotage.
Yeah.
It's like the editor had a problem with the stunt guy.
Yeah. A lot of axes to be grind in Man with the Golden Gun. A lot of people are just working through their issues.
Any other final thoughts on this man with his golden gun?
The sexual innuendo gets a lot grosser at this point. Like, previously, you would have Bond say, "I'm on top of it," and then it would cut to him in bed with a woman or something.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Whereas now it's like M's on the phone. He's like, "Tell Bond to pull out," and then you cut to him in bed with a woman. It's just, it's a grosser Bond. There's a lot of gross stuff in this movie.
Yeah, I do technically think. I think maybe the pull-out thing is in the next movie.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah,
I think you're right.
Let's real quick get some more dad thoughts. He writes, after rewatching The Man with the Golden Gun, I realized I liked it more than I remembered. Christopher Lee's a classic bad guy, played his part well, which is true. I've not read the book, so I had nothing to compare it to.
I would give him half of that. I would say Christopher Lee does a good job, but the villain himself is not that good of a villain.
I think he's more saying Christopher Lee as a whole is a classic bad guy.
Sure.
But it was probably one of Roger Moore's better performances as Bond. I would rate this so in the middle or a little below. As far as quality of Bond films, I have read the book Spy Who Loved Me. The film was absolutely nothing like the book in any way, although it was not a bad film. Kurt Jurgens did an adequate job as the bad guy. Roger's performance, along with that of Barbara Bach, Russian Spy, were also adequate. The film introduced the second iconic henchman, Jaws, who will appear again in Moonraker. Jaws would elevate this film somewhat, but I would still rate this in the middle of the Bond films as far as quality. Let's see what we have to think. I really like this one a lot. I like Spy Who Loved Me a lot. I think every decade-ish, they kind of figure out how to distill the culture of the time into a Bond film as opposed to, like, ripping off something specific. And I think this is kind of that for the 70s. I guess there's a little bit of, like, Bond goes to Egypt, but it's not as much as the other films around it.
No, this one's definitely known as Disco Bond.
Yeah. Some of those music cues, for sure. I will also say I'll talk about the original novella maybe at the end, I think, because it is interesting. But what are people's general thoughts about this one?
I liked it better than Man with the Golden Gun, but I have to admit I fell asleep twice when we were watching it. I fell asleep. And then when we were done, I went back to watch it because I fell asleep pretty early, and I fell asleep again. So that might be how tired I was.
Yeah.
But I was enjoying it. But I actually, that's why if you check my letterbox, I just said I watched it. I didn't really rate it because I didn't feel I could truly review it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't love this one. I liked it much more than the previous one. There's a lot of elements in this that I like. But overall, it still wasn't a...
I think the villain is a little bland.
I'll kind of agree with
what they're going for and dignified, but it's I wish he was just he had a little more pizzazz, I guess, and just a little something.
Yeah, there's another plan that doesn't really make sense, but go ahead, Luna. Sorry.
Yeah, I really like the villain sets for this one. Not necessarily for any actual reason, but because seeing the fish and having an underwater kind of villain layer is a really interesting concept, and I'm glad that they went through with it. Other than that, I don't really have any thoughts.
I did like the introduction to Agent Triple X. I thought it was very clever, the way they made it seem like it was going to be the man. They're just introduced the same way Bond's introduced. And then, at the end when, they were looking for Agent Triple X, and then she answers, this is Agent Triple X. I thought that was just a clever, messing with our expectations.
Yeah. I know.
But I remember watching that. I said, "Oh, that was clever," and then that was followed immediately by "Tell Bond to pull out."
Yeah,
yeah. That
I'm like, all right, well, cleverness only goes so long.
This is the one. This is the one I probably enjoyed the most of the ones we've been watching so far. I think just because there was so much different things going on, but it was also it was way too long. Like there was a lot going on, but it was just a lot of wandering. I thought in a lot of ways too that I just got really uninterested and kind of bored. But overall, I've enjoyed this one more than most we've done.
Yeah, I mean, I'll defend some of the gross sex jokes. I don't know, like I don't mind them as long as they're not like cruel.
Honestly, the pull-up joke is fine because it wasn't like you're not trying to like demean a human being, a single person by like doing something. You're just like, it's like a fucking, that's what a locker room joke is. Like, sorry, that's the caliber. It's basic, it's simple, it's just a ha ha ha.
I'm actually surprised that they were able to say something that dirty back then. Like, honestly, like, and I understand it's a double entendre, but just even that phrase is.
Well, this movie ends with a sex joke that I actually think is pretty funny. Also,
which one is that?
Oh, we'll get to it.
Okay.
We begin under the sea, a normal day on a submarine, where they see something that freaks them out. British sub has been lost, but so has a Russian one. There's a lot of this movie. This movie structurally is basically kind of like You Only Live Twice in a lot of ways. It has like a similar plot, except it's he's teamed up with a Russian spy instead of, the getting help from the Japanese intelligence people. We're introduced to Russian agent Vin Diesel, Triple X. I'm gonna call X X from here on out. Our just Barbara Bach, and introduced as Scott said earlier, where you kind of think it's the guy at first. Meanwhile, Bond is in Austria. Yeah, tell him to pull out immediately, says M. Bond smooches a lady. He has to leave. James, I need you. So does England, which is a funny moment. Lady's actually an enemy. Bad guy ski chase. Disco Bond theme. And he jumps off a big cliff, and he holds on him forever, and then the fucking parachute comes out, and it's the Union Jack, and the Bond theme starts, and it's a pretty good opening.
Good stunt, really, really well done stunt. Like Brian said, Tom Cruise must have been watching that and just been like, I know my life's purpose.
Opening credits, Nobody Does It Better by Carly Simon. Directed by, which we'll talk about a little more in a minute, directed by Lewis Gilbert, who did Yolt, You Only Live Twice, which I'll bring up again and again because there's a lot of plot points in this that are very similar. And would go on to do Moonraker next. We start with some briefings. X is briefed by Gogol, this Russian intelligence, like the Russian M, who I guess is apparently in like 4 or 5 more of these movies as this same character, which I don't remember. And he was in, and I do remember this. He was in From Russia with Love, playing like a similar character, I think. She's to go to Cairo, also her lover has been killed, and the movie's editing kind of implies that Bond did it. Meanwhile, Bond is shown the route of the British sub, and Q explains how it was tracked using wake sensors. Someone is selling the tracking system in Cairo. We meet our villain in his water, half underwater, half above water station, Atlantis. Stromberg is Kulas Lair. This is the room we meet him in. There's a lot of cool rooms. There's a lot of really cool villain rooms in this movie, and I had a hard time choosing what was going to go behind me because there's a lot of cool ones really later.
I do think that one in particular. I think that one in particular is maybe one of the best in like the whole series.
Yeah, this one's really this one stood out to me because it's a little different than the other ones. The other ones have more of that kind of typical Ken Adams Bond retro future thing going on, and this one has that obviously, but has this. This almost feels like Blade Runner in a weird way, like the way the weird mix of tech and kind of old school stuff looks like. We see him casually get rid of his girlfriend, who seemingly gave away the aforementioned tracking system plans by opening up a trap door in an elevator that drops her in with some sharks. Some scientists think they're safe, but Stromberg just blows up their helicopter instead.
Yeah, well, he makes them think that he's going to kill one of them because he like when he says like, "Oh, somebody's been selling secrets," and it feels like it's one of those two scientists, and he's like, "Why don't you just leave us?" And then she's like, she's feeling all cocky, and then he freezes her a shark. That too, like he doesn't just kill her.
That's true.
He says he goes on the phone afterwards and says to cancel the wire transfer that was going to the scientists, and just the most nitty of picks. They wouldn't have been able to verify it. They're going to be killed. Why did he even do the transfer in the first place? Again, not important.
We meet the goon Sandor and the very famous Jaws. A highlight of the film for sure. A highlight of this film and the next. This film, it's kind of he's like he's the anti JW Pepper. He's one where he shows up, and then when he shows up again, you're like, yeah, Jaws is back. I almost don't want to spoil what they do with Jaws in the next movie because it makes sense that what they do with him, but
kind of I guess.
Well, not the romance stuff, the other there's a different part of it.
That's all I remember is Jaws in love.
Stromberg wants everyone who comes into contact with the tracking system microfilm eliminated. In Egypt, Bond is doing his best Lawrence impression, and camels make weird noises. There's some weird camel noises on the soundtrack to this movie. Bond meets his contact, Hossein, and he praises the boundless light of Allah, which is based. Hossein lets Bond borrow one of his harem, which is less based, and then directs Bond to a man named Max Calbo by way of a man named Fakesh. In I think the only scene that I don't really understand what's going on in this movie, Bond visits Fakesh's home, and Fakesh's lady, I think there to run interference and get him killed by Sandor, but she freaks out at the last second and gets herself killed instead. I think that's what's happening here. But either way, Bond gets another fucking woman killed, and then he fights a goon on the Egyptian rooftops. Sandor hangs off the edge by Bond's tie, and he gives Bond info about where Fakesh is going to be. Bond throws Sandor to his death. There's a night show at the pyramids, which I guess is a thing. There's like this.
It should be.
If it's not a thing. It's like there's all these people and they're sitting outside the pyramids and they're doing like a light show at night, and there's like a guy on the speaker going like, "The pyramids 3,000 years ago." Like, step into ancient history. Step into the shrine of the silver monkey. X is there already meeting Fakesh, who seems to get spooked by Jaws. Jaws bites through metal. Jaws famously, he's a big, tall dude, and he's got these fucking metal teeth, and they can bite through metal. He kills Fakesh. Bond tries to confront Jaws, but Jaws ski-daddles out of there. He's very limber for his size. Bond finds info on Fakesh about a meeting he was to have with Calba at the Mujaba Club the next day. Bond meets X, and she unsuccessfully has some guys try to beat him up. Next day at the Mujaba Club, Bond and X know each other's drink orders. Also, Tracy is mentioned, which I liked. Tracy,
is that the only time?
It's one of the only times they mention Bond's dead wife, Tracy, in the series. Yeah. So I always like when Tracy, I do the Leo meme. When she's mentioned, even if they don't actually say her name. I'm like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's very sensitive about it. He's like, oh, no.
Yeah. He's like, no, fuck off. Calba owns the club, and Bond and X fill in for Fakesh to bid on the microfilm. Jaws shows up and tricks Calba before killing him and taking the microfilm, and Bond very disrespectfully puts an out-of-order sign on Calba's dead body, which I think is... I don't know. I think it's disrespectful.
It's a little sociopathic.
Yeah. Bond follows Jaws to his van, but A, X is already there, joins him in the back, and B, there's a speaker in the back, so unbeknownst to them, Jaws can hear him. Out in the desert, they come to some really cool ruins. They have there's a nice tense creep scene where they're trying to follow Jaws around, but he knows they're following him around. There's all these big cool pillars. Eventually they fight. He's buried under some rubble, but still survives, which will happen many times. Not the rubble part, but him surviving something that would have killed the typical Bond goon.
Yeah.
That's kind of his other bit, I guess.
Invincibility.
He just keeps coming back. It's like that. It's like that Stephen King story. Sometimes they come back. I didn't think that I thought in my head I was like, it'd be funnier if I named something else, but I don't think that that's a famous enough King story that people will understand that that's what I'm referencing. X grabs the film and plans on abandoning Bond, but Bond took the car keys earlier. Jaws shows back up, starts ripping the car apart before they got to get out of there together, and Jaws drops a block on his foot. And then they play some goofy carnival music as their piece of shit car breaks down on them in the desert, and they travel on foot.
I will say another least favorite Bond moment for me in this scene is they're in this life or death situation with Jaws ripping the car apart, and she's trying as hard as she can to drive away, and Bond is just like, women drivers.
Yeah, he really is decided to take this moment to work on his roast material.
Yeah, it's that moment, and then the carnival music moment are probably my least favorite moments of the movie. I guess probably maybe.
I guess my one defense is at that point he really does not like her at that moment. Like she ditched him. Like they're kind of working together. By that point, he's kind of like, you know what, you go fuck yourself.
They find a boat back to Cairo. Bond uses a doohickey to check out the plans. Bond and X make out a little, but it's a trick so she can knock him out. Then Bond heads to M's fuck-ass Egypt office with the fucking... It's like an Egypt-themed office because it's a thing he has. Gogol is there with X. It's because Gogol and M are working together. They find out that the film they got is largely worthless, but it points them to Stromberg. And X and Bond are officially teamed up by their superiors. Also, there's a really funny Q joke here where there's like a tea tray, like a magnetic tea tray with a tea set on it, and then it just like shoots across this table and cuts a dummy's head off. And Q's like, get this ready for so-and-so's, tea party tomorrow or something. Which that was funny. Mostly because of how it doesn't, I don't know how that would really work. It seems like they got the like perfect situation. Because the thing's on the table, so is it gonna? Yeah. I don't really understand, but it's fine. It's funny. On a train now, X turns Bond down again, but then they wait by the doors in a moment that would be done better in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, where, if people remember that movie, Indy and Willie are like waiting for each other to come ravish the other in their rooms across the hall from each other. Suddenly Jaws is there. Bond electrocutes his metal teeth and throws him off the train, but he survives, of course. And Bond and X do in fact hook up. In Italy, Bond gets his cool new car from Q, and in two moments I like here. We stay with X as Q explains the features, so we don't know some of the things it can do until it does them, which I think is like kind of a nice touch. Also, I always like the Q banter. The Q, have I ever let you down? And him saying frequently as he drives off. I like Desmond Llewellyn. I wish I could give him a hug, but he's dead. Maybe I could find his corpse.
Well, you could just go grave robbing.
An
option.
Later, Naomi, Stromberg's assistant, and I guess maybe his new girlfriend, I'm not sure, comes to receive Mr. and Mrs. Sterling. Bond is pretending to be a marine biologist. They're escorted to the sea layer Atlantis, and there's some cool along with this, there's some cool like motion matting here, where when they're like driving up, where they have like the miniature of Atlantis and then like real stuff of the waves, and it looks like they probably just had to do it like frame by frame back then, if I had to guess. Bond pawns X off on Naomi. He meets with Stromberg. Stromberg tests Bond. He's obsessed with the ocean. He's another one of these freaks, but his thing is the ocean, which, to be fair, I think is more understandable than gold. If someone was like this, like being this into the ocean makes more sense than being that into just like one metal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that metal is worth a lot of money.
It is worth a lot of money, but like your whole thing is about it. Like, what's interesting about it? Like, I'm not like a fish guy or anything, but I get it. Like gold, I don't know. What do you look at it?
Ask our president.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fucking idiot. So like that's my point. He's just, it's like a shiny. It's like I respect Stromberg that he's like, you know what? I've got my special interest. You know, these other guys like Scaramanga and fucking Auric Goldfinker are like, they're like children.
I just remember thinking it's too bad we couldn't like do this movie again now, because then we could just make him James Cameron. Like, essentially just like the James Cameron villain.
This is where James Cameron wants to live.
Yeah, pretty much. He watches this movie with aspiration.
Yeah, he's planning on making an underwater city, which will quote unquote soon be a reality. Bond leaves, but not before they see his big ship, which X notes isn't as big as the Karl Marx, which I think is a good moment. Jaws confirms their identity is Stromberg, and they're going to kill them. When they get ashore, Bond and X are hot dogging around in his new car. They get chased by a motorcycle whose sidecar is a big rocket. Bond does some dangerous driving to avoid, and the cyclist falls to their death. More people show up to chase them, including Jaws. Bond releases sludge on their windshield. The guys, in like a comedy shot, land their car, like it cuts to like it's like an Italian hut, and then the car like crashes straight down into it, and then an Italian guy goes, "Mamma mia!"
It's very Looney Tunes coded, yeah. Just
and Jaws survives. Now a copter is after them, flown by Naomi. Bond drives the car into the ocean, but it turns into a little submarine. Bond uses ground-to-air missiles to blow up Naomi in the helicopter. So now it's James Bond 4, Helicopters 5.
all right.
He's gaining on them.
I remember for some reason that death of Naomi just always strikes me as like a little brutal. I don't know why. I just like, I guess she wasn't in the movie that long, and then it's like, oh, now she's trying to kill him, and he blows her the fuck up. Like there's no.
No, she just gotta get blown up.
Yeah, like he's done with this shit. All right.
Yeah,
no more clever lie.
Like ostensibly, they could have just fucked off because she's in the copter, they're underwater. Like, what is she gonna do?
Yeah, but yeah, he's like, no, I've had it.
In the ocean, they spy on Stromberg's base, revealing a huge map. Little scuba guys come out to get him. X helps Bond win the fight by using the car gadgets, which she knows because she stole the blueprints 2 years ago. Which I like that moment. Another moment I like, they drive up on the beach, which starts like a Jaws parody with the car coming up, and then they do the stuff with like people like doing the like what am I drinking? Like that kind of shit. And then Bond throwing a fish out the window, that kind of stuff. I like that stuff in the Roger Moore ones when it's done well. When it's like when it like makes sense, sort of. That it would be
when it's like winkingly campy as opposed to like, here comes some jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, because that would I guess like theoretically that would happen. They would have to drive the car up somewhere, and if there were people around, they'd probably be like, what the fuck? I would be like that. I don't know if I would check what I'm drinking. I'd probably more be like, What is the government not telling us? Which was the correct response.
Yeah, I've never been so drunk that I've just suddenly seen cars popping out of pools and lakes.
Later, according to M, Stromberg's big cool ship has pulled into port nowhere. Also, X seems to realize Bond killed her former love and promises to kill him after the mission. Which isn't really mined for that much drama outside of this one scene.
Which is too bad, because I thought that would have been like a really good tension for these two.
Yeah. Bond and X get on a U.S. sub, and she takes a shower and gets peeped on in a bad moment. They try to zero in on Stromberg's ship, but something is fucking with their stuff, like the sub at the beginning of the movie. They're swallowed up by the ship again. No, well, they're not. Again, they're swallowed up by the ship again, like Yolt. This is what happened to the submarine at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. More cool rooms, the dock, the control room. Stromberg welcomes his guests. Bond and X try to blend in, but are quickly caught. Stromberg's plan: use one submarine nuke to blow up New York, another to blow up Moscow, trigger nuclear war, so now he can live underwater. He's not in it for the money. He's a true believer. The subs head out. X is kept with Stromberg as he heads back to Atlantis, and they shoot out of the side of the ship in a pretty funny moment where I think you can see the little like action figure dolls in the boat in one shot. Bond is taken to the other military prisoners, but stages an escape, freeing the prisoners and resulting in a big action shootout again, like You Only Live Twice. Our heroes raid the armory. The British sub-captain is killed. The control room is well fortified. Eventually things calm down. Tense moment, Bond pulls a detonator out of a nuke. There's a moment here I like where someone asks if they're pulling like the detonator out of the nuke, and they got to be careful because it could go off if they do it wrong. And someone asks Bond if he's done it before, and he says first time for anything, and then it just does like a crash zoom on one of the guys like looking really nervous. Bond has to sneak up on the control room, does so by riding the overhead camera. There's this like orb camera on the ceiling on like this track that goes back and forth, and the only way you can get close, the only way you can avoid is to sit on top of it, ride it. And when he unplugs, they do like the Bond theme build up here, but then when he like rips the cord out, it cuts the theme off, which I think is a nice edit. The bomb goes off and the battle continues, but the subs are already ready to launch. They need to reprogram the subs to destroy each other, which they figure out with the help of a little book that I guess just tells them how to do everything. And the subs just blow each other up. They just set some nukes off. It's fine. Don't worry about wherever the subs were. And then the ship our heroes are on starts blowing up and they need to evacuate. They use the U.S. sub and use torpedoes to open a hole because they're still within the bigger ship. Tense scene as they escape before the ship blows up. Back at Atlantis, the U.S. sub captain has an order to blow it up, but he gives Bond an hour to go rescue X. Bond rides a jet ski in. Stromberg sees Bond arrive and tries to use his elevator trap on Bond, but Bond knows about wedging himself. Bond also avoids the explosive harpoon trap that he has before just like fucking emptying his entire clip into Stromberg. Jaws is also there, and Bond fights him in the shark room and uses a magnet to grab his teeth and throw him in the sharks, but Jaws literally just bites the shark. And
you can play that game.
And then he just swims away into the next film. The U.S. sub starts destroying the place as Bond frees X. They escape into like a weird like hot tub bed pleasure craft. I don't know what it is. They fuck off out of there. It seems for a minute like X is gonna make good on her promise to kill Bond, but she's just fucking with him and they hook up. And then I do like the ending. She says, "What would our superiors say?" He says, "They'll never know." And then like immediately cuts to Gogol and M like standing outside the big window, and this is the sex joke I was saying earlier, where he says, 007, what are you doing? And he says, keeping the British end up, sir.
That's right.
And then it cuts to like that weird like show tune.
I do not like that. That's a very
Radio City.
Like, I don't like that ending music there.
I kind of do. It works for me. It's like a Radio City musical. It's like what the Rockettes would dance to or something.
Yeah. What is?
And then the credits tease For Your Eyes Only, which would not be the next Bond film because coming out the same year as The Spy Who Loved Me was a little movie called Star Wars. So they pushed up Moonraker instead.
You guys like space? We'll put him in space.
Yeah, we'll fucking throw this fucker into space. Well, you guys want this fucker in space? We'll put this fucker in space. That's the meeting behind the scenes. I was gonna say,
is this the beginning? The film franchises that just like get thrown into space when they run out of ideas. Is this the beginning of that?
I think so.
It might, yeah, I think so. Probably. Yeah. I mean, this
one was at least like inspired, like kind of said, inspired by Star Wars. So it wasn't that they were out of ideas; they were just chasing a high.
Yeah.
Unlike some movies where they do generally just are like, I don't know, space is the final thing.
The final frontier.
Right. Final frontier. Yeah. I remember when Craig for Secret Movie Club wanted to do like they go to space and like a series of like when like the franchise does go to space. Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking like that'd be fun, but they should also do for that series Star Trek 4, which is the one where they go to Earth.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like this movie. I like this movie. To me, this is like the one Roger Moore movie I like quite a bit. I was gonna really briefly just talk about the original novella. I don't know where else to insert this, but the original novella is really interesting. Did you ever read that one, Jason?
No.
It's one. It's a novella. It's like 100 pages or 150 pages. It's 3 chapters. It's narrated in first person, which is not how all the other ones are. And it's narrated by the woman who is the of the title.
Yeah, the titular me.
the eponymous me. The first, she's like working at a... for some reason in my head, I want to say it's in Canada or the Pacific Northwest. It's like in my head, it's somewhere in upper North America, and she's working at a little motel, and it's like raining and storming, and she's like the only innkeeper basically, and the novella has 3 long chapters, and the first chapter is called Me. And it's literally just about her like taking care of this motel. And the second chapter is called Them, when a couple of almost like an old school like 70s horror movie, a couple of like ruffians show up and start kind of terrorizing her around the motel. And then the last chapter is called Him, and I'm sure you guys can guess who shows up to save the day.
The titular spy.
The eponymous spy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I was aware of that Bond doesn't show up till very late in that story.
It would be a cool story to adapt just by itself, but
I don't know if you could like.
It would almost have to be a secret Bond movie. Like, you don't know.
Yeah,
or like
any franchise, you know what I mean? Like, if you do Batman movies, like, don't worry, he doesn't show up till Act 3. Yeah. So it's mostly Bruce Wayne? Oh, no. It's just some dude.
Hey, if you don't want the main character, the hero, to show up till Act 3, why don't you just make it a Netflix show?
Yeah, no kidding. We'll talk about that in a second.
But yeah, good movie. I like this one. I think I'm the most positive. But
I like all the.
But I definitely see what you mean by it being like the best of the Roger Moores, and the one where it's like almost felt like it could stand on its own. The first two seemed like they were still trying to like ape the Connery tone.
Yeah.
And this one, like you said, it does feel like, okay, now we know how to make Roger Moore Bond movies. None of them quite hit this high again.
Yeah.
But
next two are
it does feel, yeah. Yeah, Moore's not my guy. Like I've said that from the beginning. Moore is just not my, which is hard because he has the longest run as Bond.
We
so
got
there's definitely
2 more full episodes of Roger Moore.
Yeah. But no, I definitely see, especially compared to the 2 that like preceded it. You know, it is. Whenever I do a run of the Bond movies, I think maybe next time I'll do it in a different order because I usually watch them in order, and this is the like haul where it's like, whew, here we go, and maybe I'll like spread it out between just like the act, like one of each actor portraying them, or something. But like, yeah, like it's just like I said, after the last 2, this is definitely a step in the right direction.
I like all the stuff on the ship where they've stolen the subs. Like, I think Roger Moore is well utilized there because I can't really see Sean Connery as, like, the guy who just immediately blends in with the military people.
Yeah.
And, like, Roger Moore definitely feels like ex-military. Like, you can feel his naval background kind of stuff in that character that you couldn't really necessarily with Sean Connery, where he just, like, immediately like falls into line with the other men, and that all that stuff worked for me, and I thought was like a good use of Roger Moore.
One thing we didn't talk about with Man with the Golden Gun is he slaps some women in that one, and it seems rougher than when Connery does it. And I was thinking about that, and I think part of it is because, like, and this is not right by any means, but somehow with, like, Connery, it feels like he doesn't know any better, or it's just like he was raised in it where, like...
Connery, you can feel his passion.
Yeah, I don't know. With Moore, it just seems like he's like, I'm mad and I want to hurt you now. Like he's had enough and now he's getting violent. Where like Connery doesn't view what he's doing as violent. It's just sort of like sometimes you got.
Well, it doesn't really fit his persona as Bond, so it feels like I feel it feels discongruous.
Yeah, there's none of that in this one.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some tunes on the Bond. Let me go over to my music ranking board, and we've got 3 songs to rank today. Even though we might cut one of these because I gotta be honest, I listened to it about an hour and a half ago. I don't remember it now. But I remember at the time listening through some of these other rejected themes and being like, "Oh, I'll put this one in there," and now I'm like, "What the fuck is this song like?" Anyways, first let's talk about The Man with the Golden Gun, the real theme by Lulu, I believe is the artist, which to me is a song, it feels like the song that my captors would play really loud in my cell, my wet cell, while like trying to keep me keep me awake at night. It feels like the song feels like I'm already like overstimulated, that the song's just making it a little worse. But I don't hate it. It's kind of catchy.
I admit it's been a month. How does the song go again? I should have re-listened to it.
Man with the golden gun.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Love is required whenever he's hired. We're gonna get flagged for this.
That's what I think we'll be fine.
I don't know. Probably, I'd probably throw it on like the C.
That's what I was thinking. C tier. Yeah.
I was going B because it is catchy, and it does feel kind of like a Bond theme that like The Simpsons would write.
Yeah.
as a sound alike.
I would probably rank it a similar way for similar reasons, because it is catchy, And I think I mistook it for Eartha Kitt at first, which is a plus.
Bri?
Yeah, I'm more like C with it. It doesn't really do anything.
Bri breaks the tie, it goes into the C tier. Man with a golden gun. All right. Next up, Carly Simon's "Nobody Does It Better." I think I mentioned a few episodes ago how there's going to be a couple of songs I would fight for as S tier, and this is one of them. I think this song's really good.
I would give it almost an A tier. I think it's a good song. I like it, but there's something about it to me that just doesn't quite feel Bond. I don't know. It like,
yeah.
I don't think it doesn't feel epic enough. It feels like easy listening on the radio. I don't know, and that's what to me keeps it from S tier. Because I like the song, but I would put it in like A minus B tier, B plus tier, like probably A tier. Like,
I don't really like the song. I don't hate it. Yeah, it would be like a B tier for me.
I don't remember the song.
All right, here we go. It's like nobody does it better. Makes you feel
she's talking about fucking
for the rest. Nobody
the way you're
does
singing it makes me think of the musical Annie. So I would probably, if it's a similar type of Broadway vibe, that doesn't really fit Bond. I would probably agree with a B ranking.
I absolutely hate this song.
oh wow!
Growing up and being in a station wagon and getting secondhand smoke, it's just a song that's like, what the fuck Bond is this? This is something. It's pillow talk for moms to listen to. Put it in the very bottom tier it could exist.
Wow.
Yeah. Fuck you, Carlos.
I'm sorry, Connor. I don't think we're gonna be able to shoot it to S tier.
Definitely not an S. I mean, I'm trying to think. What would I'm trying to think. Y'all all kind of said B, right?
Yeah, it seems like between your S tier and Brian's F tier, and then like our kind of middle, it seems like B would be where it belongs.
I would say B minus.
Oh, I was gonna say B plus, honestly. So
I'm doing a little math. Yeah, it would be B. Okay.
all right.
We'll throw it in B. I am disappointed.
Sorry, bud.
It's fine. I love this song though. I remember.
I do like the song. I just think in the whole of the series, I like whenever I hear it, it just doesn't hit me as a Bond song the way some do.
I think it should also be noted that it is one of 3 Bond songs that ruined the next couple of Bond songs because it was so popular. It happened with Goldfinger. It happened with this one, and then it happens with Skyfall, where a song comes out and it's so popular that the next couple of film songs try to copy it to much less successful results. With Goldfinger being a little weird because they skip a couple movies because there's also some good stuff right after Goldfinger, but there's a couple right after Goldfinger that you can tell are clearly aping off of that.
Yeah, do a Goldfinger.
Yeah, do a Goldfinger. Does anybody have opinions about this Alice Cooper Man with the Golden Gun? Because I listened to it earlier and I don't remember it.
I'm kind of the same too. Like I also like it's fine song, but I guess I felt the same way about the kind of like it just doesn't feel like a Bond song. It doesn't feel like the song you put in for the opening credits.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too.
I don't even remember it, so it's somewhere low.
I didn't really like it. I mean, it would be C or D for me.
Let's just leave it off because I don't think we even know even cares. It's eliminated. Sorry, Alice. Your song has been eliminated from the running. It's not as good as the Johnny Cash one.
Much like it's been eliminated from the movie.
Yeah,
so you should be used to it. Man.
It's not as good as the Johnny Cash one. Nor is it. There's at least 1 or 2 others in the future. I know we'll probably talk about the Radiohead Spectre one, because I like that. It's a good rejected theme also. Sorry, I'm just taking some notes before we move on to our final section where we talk about stuff and not play games. We're gonna talk here. I didn't really know when to talk about these movies when I was sort of setting this up. Here, this is me with my boys. This is a shot from, like, I'm in the back of the car with them. This is a shot from Kiss the Girls and Make Them Die, when it cut to these guys just, like, sitting in the back of the car. It made me laugh. There's been as we talked about last Bond Club, the Bond movies were influencing culture in the 60s and then became post-culture in the 70s and were then influenced by culture. And not that there weren't other things that came out that were obviously influenced, but those things tended to be more transformative, like Indiana Jones or the Bourne movies eventually. But in the 60s, there's kind of two waves of parodies and ripoffs. Well, the first wave in the 60s, early 70s was like a combo ripoff riff parody wave. And then there was another wave of spy parodies in the late 90s, early 2000s that had less to do with the spy stuff and more to do with the fact that those types of movies became popular. But I got a collection of 8 of these movies, mostly from the mid to late 60s, one's from the mid 70s. And we're gonna run through them real quick. I've ranked them. I've seen them all. Jason has seen them all. The others have seen, I think, 1 to 3 of them. I've ranked them in ascending order of quality, and we'll see if they match up. I asked Jason to rank his as well, and we'll see how they match up. We have the same top and bottom. It should be said a lot of these influenced Austin Powers. Like a lot of these, like I remember like a couple of these you watch and you're like, this feels like it has to influence Austin Powers, and then you go to the Austin Powers Wikipedia page and you like Control F the title of the movie, and it's like, yeah, they watched that one too. So first up, my least favorite of these films, also Jason's least favorite, The Silencers. Matt Helm is portrayed by Dean Martin, who I'm going to refer to as Dean Cain from here on out, who does some music and just wants to kiss girls. This is the kind of movie people don't watch anymore. This is so I did some comparison on Letterboxd of how much it's been watched. It has 2.9 thousand views on Letterboxd. Comparatively, Trancers 3 has 2.8 thousand. So Trancers 3 is only slightly behind this film. And I gotta be honest, Trancers 3 is not even the good one. There's one thing notable about this movie. What did you think about this one? You hated this one too, Jason, right?
Yeah, miserable film. I texted Connor where I was like, the people who laughed at this at the time are like the people in more modern times who really liked like epic movie and stuff like that.
Oh god, maybe I should have watched that one.
The only notable thing about this is that it's double notable. It's notable because apparently this movie has the first end credit scene of like a major film where it teases its already made sequel. But what was funny about it is I found that out because Bri and I were having a conversation about end credit scene literally right after I was bitching about this movie, and then I looked up what the first end credit scene was. I was like, oh, that thing I was just talking about how big of a piece of shit it was, apparently it was that.
The only gag I liked in this entire movie, gag I liked in this entire movie was the woman walking around with a gun that shoots backwards and constantly handing it off to people for them to shoot themselves with.
I had that written down, yeah. There's like a reverse gun, and she keeps handing it to people. And I kind of like that his other of these movies do it better, but I do like his crazy Pee-wee house a little bit. Next up, and I'll be honest, I probably would enjoy this movie if I could understand what the fuck anyone was saying. But next up is Help, Vengos Visible Agent 000. It's all Greek to me. Literally, it's in Greek. I don't speak Greek. I watched the entire nearly 90-minute movie. It's a lot of slapstick, so I understood that part of it. I understood the basic plot, kind of, but I actually have a slightly unedited summary of the film that I took while watching it. That's short, that I'm going to read here in a second. And Jason, I want you to tell me how close I am. But okay. What was your second favorite before you talk about this movie? Well, your second least favorite, I should say.
And this is like all the middle films for me are kind of like, for the most part, in similar spots, but I was kind of mid on Our Man Flint. Okay,
interesting. We'll talk about that later. I have that a little higher up. But what about this film?
I'm Greek. I like this movie. There's a lot of humor in it that is very Greek humor. It's hard to overstate how famous the director and actor in this is in Greece. There's a website for Greeks living in America where they'll sell you like stuff from Greece. And when you go to the DVDs page, they have like 12 pages of DVDs you can get from Greece. You have to get to page 7 before you find a movie that's not by this guy.
Thanasis Vagos.
Yeah. Thanasis Vagos, who plays Thuvu in this movie, which is like his initials. And very, very silly movie. There's a phrase that my grandfather would say sometimes, which is like "run like Vagos," which I didn't understand what the fuck he was talking about at the time. But apparently that just means run really fast, because he does a lot of very fast, kind of sped up running in these movies.
So you know Greek at all?
No, I know a few dozen words and stuff. Like my grandmother tried to teach me Greek over the course of my life, but I only retained like a handful of words. I watched this movie with English subtitles. There's a DVD that was printed with English subtitles that is out of print now, and I've been trying to track down a copy. There's a handful of his movies that were available with English subtitles. Most of them aren't. But I could not find the copy that I downloaded years ago that had the subtitles on it.
Suffice it to say, you have a better understanding of what happened in the film than I do.
Yeah, like I remember like what the plot is and what the gags are and stuff.
Okay,
like, there's a couple of gags that would only make sense if you're Greek. Like
for sure.
In the United States, if you say "show me your guns," you know you're gonna do this. Whereas in Greek, you say "make a mouse." And so there's a scene where the guy asks Thuvu to make a mouse, and he does this, and the camera cuts to his arm, and there's a mouse on it. It's that kind of stuff.
So it's like Naked Gun.
One joke that I didn't get that joke, to be honest. Like I was like, oh, whatever. But like a lot of the jokes are just very slapstick. So the plot summary I have here has nothing to do with like the jokes as much as like my actual me trying to piece together what the story of the film is. There was one joke that made me laugh really hard, where he's like gathered around and he has a gun and he throws the gun on the desk and it fires and everyone around flinches and it immediately cuts. Here's my summary of the film, which I'm going to read largely. We'll see. Okay, so when I started these notes, I did not know who this man was, so I apologize. Bald loser starts in spy school. I think he gets rejected and weasels his way back in. He's on a mission, I think helping a guy pretend he's sick. Now he's following a woman and her man around. He loses her and gets in trouble. I believe around here he sees a little boy's penis. And then we get a song break before our fat, bald hero shows up dressed like a gay pirate to ruin the vibe. He gets a photograph. He wears a little sailor boy outfit, like an infant, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So I thought he already had an assignment, but I guess he's getting one now, or his number is being assigned. It's 0. There's a runway show where he ogles some pretty ladies, and then an old lady shows up and he blows a gasket. Okay, I think the 0 earlier was his results because he gets another one, and it seems like he's fired or quits. But he's still on the job looking for something hidden in a cake that I think the guy's bosses were setting up. Very confused about that. Is it a test? Our hero fucks up a bunch of cakes and it leads to a giant cake fight. There's also like a bunch of sound effects for little flying saucers. It's the sound effects make it sound like there's like little, like off camera, there's like little flying saucers everywhere. I think they're supposed to be comedy sound effects. People are throwing chairs. Close up on his cake smeared face reminds me of those grotesque close-ups in SpongeBob. Graduation time. He gets the numbers 000, which I guess is a toilet joke. It ends with him fucking up an arrest. So how was that summary of the movie, Jason?
Very, very funny to hear.
Yeah.
What the movie is about is James Bond is real. James Bond exists, and Greece is trying to create their own James Bond, and so they start this intelligence agency where they ask for recruits to try to find the Greek James Bond. And so they have this school where all of these applicants are here to train to become the next James Bond. And Thuvu is one of the recruits. And he goes through 3 different tests, and each test is given a ranking at the end from 0 to 9, 9 being the highest grade. And the first test is to follow along this man's daughter who is seeing someone that the guy is worried is not like they're worried about the guy's like intentions with his daughter and stuff, and so he's supposed to tail her and figure out who this guy is.
Okay.
So that's his first mission, which he fucks up and gets a 0 score. And his second mission involves trying to track down a smuggler. So, like, there's this suitcase that's being carried around with goods that get stolen, which he also fucks up.
I thought the suitcase, I thought that was the same guy from earlier.
Yeah, they're all kind of connected. It's all kind of the same people. And he steals a baby. He accidentally kidnaps a baby during the course of this.
I remember
that. And there's a funny gag where if you actually speak Greek or had the subtitle versions, you would know that he hears on the radio that a baby's been kidnapped, and he hears the description, and he just does not realize they're talking about him.
Yeah.
And so he's like complaining to the baby about like people in this world.
Yeah. Classic stuff.
Stealing babies and stuff.
I do think if I could watch the subtitle version, this would probably go up a couple slots. But there is a lot of jokes where it would go past the sign and then it would show someone and I'd be like, okay. like that sign was in Greek, bro. Like I don't know.
Yeah. And the third test, the people administering the test specifically put together one they think he can't fail, which is he's supposed to find these secret documents at this cake shop.
That makes sense.
And they try to make it as obvious as possible, but he still screws it up.
Yep. And that's why he gets the 000.
He gets a 000 rating, which is the worst possible rating, and ends up being assigned janitorial duties.
Because isn't 000, it was like an old term for like water closet or something, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, to move a little faster here, the next movie up, my next least favorite or next most favorite, I don't know. My sixth favorite of the 8th movies is Kiss the Girls and Make Them Die. Where was that one for you? Or what's here at this spot for you, Jason?
Third?
Yeah.
The Venetian Affair.
From the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think we have it like kind of. I think the middle ones we might have a little flipped, just because I liked the ones where I could kind of maybe understand what was happening. Because the girls that make them die as a spoof, as in it doesn't make any sense, and it's Italian, as in it doesn't make any sense. Do any girls actually die in this movie? I was slightly not paying attention for the first like 10 minutes, I gotta be honest. Mm-hmm. But I really don't think I would have, like, the movie does like cut out a lot of explanation of like what's happening until the things have already happened. But I liked the tunes, I liked the driver, I laughed really hard when he shot the scorpions with a gun, and Chekhov's banana. Of course.
Chekhov's banana, yeah. I love that. I think there's some like really beautiful cinematography in the movie. I really like the gag where the scientist gets gassed, and then he's like petoxide, and the person gagging him says methyl benzoperite, and the scientist is like nods like with an appreciation of a fellow mad scientist poisoner kind of thing, and falls over.
Luna, Bri, y'all watch this one?
I don't know what we were watching. It was interesting, at least. I mean, it looked cool, sounded cool. I just don't know what we watched. The overdubs were wild as fuck. Like, they were just terrible, but you can't fault the actual movie for that. But especially the dude over the guy who was doing that work. That was wild.
The main guy had a very...
Like, everything from his point of view sounded like he was doing one of those like HR skits. Like, this is how you introduce the store policy kind of thing. It's very strange.
Luna?
Yeah, I'm disappointed that none of the girls died. I feel like I was misled as to what the movie was going to be.
Yeah.
I don't even remember if any of these women were kissed. It was such a bland movie that I couldn't keep track of what was happening.
It is a very it's a hard movie to keep track of.
Anyways. But there was just a lot. It was just kept going. Like, there was like I think I said at one point, it felt like a Jacques Tati film that was just with zero talent involved with it, with like planning or anything, because it was just like things moving and happening constantly. But I'm like, what the fuck are we going? What are we doing? So, a wild one.
Going up my list, Carry On Spying. What's on this slot for you, Jason?
That's where I put Help Van Gogh's Visible Agent.
Okay.
000.
Carry On Spying is along with Van Gogh's, is one of the only two of these that is actually, I would say, like a true parody, what people would think of as like a parody and not just like a goofy version of the actual thing. It's apparently part of a franchise. The Carry On franchise, which I knew nothing about. There's like 1 billion of these films, and it's like this big group of British guys, and I don't know, it was kind of funny. I liked the main guy's British accent, and it's a very specific. There's this one joke where he gets a pistol bent, like the tip bent, and then one of his friends is like, "Oh, you can use that to shoot around corners," and he goes, "No, don't be ridiculous." Like, that's the way his like British accent is. And you know, for a comedy this old, it wasn't as problematic as I thought it was gonna be. There's like technically some brown face, but you could almost argue that the point of the scene is maybe that the character's supposed to be stupid. Like, I think that's actually the bit. I think, like, obviously it's, you know, they're problematic elements of doing it anyways, but I think the point of it in the context is that this guy just looks like a white guy with shit on his face. Are
you familiar with music hall stuff?
No, not super.
Yeah, there was like this whole thing in the UK, these music hall acts that the Carry On series is very much inspired by, and there's a lot of. They were famous for like drag kings and drag queens,
Okay.
and a very particular type of comedy, and this was very much that.
Yeah. It was honestly, I had more fun. I thought I was like worried about that one at first because I was like, oh, comedy from that long ago, but I had a good time with it. Next up on my list is The Venetian Affair. What's ranked here for you?
Kiss the girls and make them die.
So we have like actually it looks like other than Venetian Affair and Army and Flint being up here, it looks like we've had a similar ranking.
Yeah.
I like these two a little more, and I kind of get it because Venetian Affair is a sleepy, a little confusing, kind of good. It's a lot of Robert Vaughn gumshoeing around Venice. So if that sounds good to you, then you might have fun with it.
This is the only. Sorry, this is the only one that it feels like it might have been left off this list.
Yeah. There was some stuff in it. It's almost like more of a detective-y thing, and there's some stuff. I was confused early on because he's working for a wire service, and I didn't know. I'd forgotten what that was, and so I thought it was just like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge spy organization. And so I was really confused for like half the movie about like what the fuck he was doing. But it's got a great opening mystery. U.S. ambassador blows himself up. Suicide bombing international meeting. Also, Robert Vaughn seems based IRL. He seems like a fucking cool guy. So I don't know. Venetian Affair. What do you think, Jason?
It was interesting. It's a little dull.
Yeah.
It's like while I was watching it, I was just thinking, there's a lot of modern films that are like mid-tier films that look way worse than like The Venetian Affair, which looks beautiful.
Yeah.
like so many movies like this, mid-tier movies, are just shot wonderfully, acted perfectly. It's just maybe a little dry.
Next up, going up higher, Army and Flint, which you also mentioned. What did you have here, Jason?
Man from Hong Kong.
Man from Hong Kong. So I assume you have Carry On next.
Yeah.
So Army and Flint's kind of like a better version of The Silencers, partially because of James Coburn. Is a more charming actor than Dean Martin.
Yeah, I like the way he moves around too.
Yeah, he's got a great vibe. He's like the MacGyver of Bonds. He's got a harem of girlfriends, which he really should have used more for spy stuff. There's a lot of little stuff in here that I liked. There's a villain named Hans Gruber. Some great beeps and boops. Some cool monorail optical effects, pretty wild hypnosis room set, like some Willy Wonka shit. And then my favorite moment is Coburn is attacked by an eagle and finds out it's been trained to attack Americans, and he responds with an anti-American eagle. It's diabolical.
I felt like weirdly this one just felt kind of like a Bond movie. I know it's considered like a parody of Bond films.
Yes,
but it's not really whack. It's not that much wackier than the '60s Bond films.
Yeah, I kind of don't disagree with you. But I enjoyed it. It moves. It has a nice pace. Coburn's good. Next up, these last two movies I know Scott and Bri have both seen because we watched together. Next up, and I know this one will be where you would have put Carry On, Spying, is The Man from Hong Kong, which is the only 70s one from 75, which is more kind of just a Hong Kong action movie that kind of has some Bond elements in it, and George Lazenby plays the bad guy.
This was a suggestion by Edwin, and in like the long term, I could see kind of, but I said it's more of a cop movie than a. Like, it has the intro, I guess.
Yeah. It's I mean, some of the stunts are great. I mean, it's an Aussie Hong Kong co-production, two countries known for safety in cinema, so you get some pretty wild stunts. And Toe Cutter from Mad Max is in here as a beleaguered policeman, because to be honest, like, the main guy here, Jimmy Yang is the actor's name, I think, right? And let me make sure I'm not being an asshole there. Yeah, Jimmy Wang. People talk about the mortality rate of women around James Bond. People need to talk about the mortality rate of pleasant afternoons around this guy, because you can't take this guy anywhere. The whole movie, he's just going to restaurants and parties and fucking fighting everybody and just like fucking it up for everyone. Like running people off a road while they're trying to fish.
I like to think that he was in a different country, so he thought, fuck it, what are they gonna do? Like my paperwork on, I'll just leave.
Yeah.
Because like,
yeah, this is one of the few movies like this I can remember where you never really like all the like aggressive cop stuff doesn't really seem to like justifiable in the case of the villain, because you never really see much of the villain's villainy. You just see the main character going places and attacking
He's going
people.
ape shit.
just losing it, and even the other cops being like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, that's like the entire movie. Toe Cutter is just like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, we gotta chill out. There's also just some funny weird shit. Like I whenever it kept in the opening credits cutting back to the lady flying around, I started laughing, and all the romantic rusty pipes, that sequence is really funny. This is like the one that would be like most likely to watch for my movie night.
yeah, I do another rewatch. I remember, like, because you talk about how it's a Hong Kong Sydney like co-production. You can really tell when like Sydney was making the movie and when Hong Kong was making the movie, because like great car chase, and like, all right, now we're in Sydney's territory, but the hand-to-hand combat, all right, Hong Kong's and I got the hands on the wheel at this point.
Yeah. Bri, you saw this one. You like this one too.
Yeah, of the non-Bond films we've been watching, this was definitely the one I appreciated the most.
And then the other one, both me and Jason's favorite for sure. And I don't even really have many notes about it, because I almost just want to tell people to go watch this movie if they haven't seen it. Is the Ipcress File, which is essentially a much more actual Bond story. Like, not Bond. It's much more of an actual spy story than the average Bond film, which are like superhero adventure movies essentially, but it's made by all of the craftsmen who made the 60s films. That same editor, I think the same producer, I think score, sets, a couple other things. And so it really is, it's just kind of like it's Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy made by the 60s Bond people, starring Michael Caine. It's really good. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I could see how it could have been a franchise.
Yeah.
And how they were like layering it. But yeah, you're definitely right about it being more, like one of the big differences that like there's no nice hotels. He's not traveling the world. It's mostly all in England and in shitty places. My one issue with this movie, and this is a spoiler, so I don't know if you're going to put it up or whatever, the ending and just like his confrontation with the bad guy when it becomes like mind control and hypnotism, seemed more Bond-like. My comparison would be like if Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy ended in an underground volcano. Like, it was just like we were leading up to like realistic spy stuff, and then it got a little cartoony at the end. Not enough to ruin it for me, but I wish they would have stuck in just like pure spy lane.
That stuff worked for me because it read almost more like the way that stuff reads in like 1984, where it's very dirty, and that's the thing that came to my mind is in 1984 when he gets captured towards the end of the book, and how grimy all that stuff is, and that felt like that to me. That's fair. Also,
the opening, as I was watching it, it was like, oh, is this Is this where they got inspiration specifically for the opening to the television show Dexter?
Yeah.
And I looked up. I looked it up, and possibly it's possible because they both open with this stringed instrument. The Ipcress File uses the cymbalon, and Dexter uses the bouzouki. They both have the character making French press coffee, and just very similar openings. Just something I noticed. No idea if that was the inspiration, but very Dexter-like.
Well, this was something. This was something. Some sort of something. Watching all these movies, I'm glad I watched a couple of them, and then there's a couple where I'm like, I don't know. Like, especially The Silencers. Like I said, The Silencers is just a movie people don't watch anymore.
Yeah, that's the only one I hated.
The other ones all have something worthwhile in them, I think. But any other thoughts about these old movies, anybody? Or are we all ready, I think, to go on to Connor's Wicked Games, sponsored by Chris Isaac. Every week, like Jigsaw, I like to play a little game. This week, the movies with the descriptive titles. This week, we talked about The Man with the Golden Gun and The Spy Who Loved Me. 2 titles that are describing a person. I have a list of movies here whose titles describe a person, and I want y'all to guess the titles of the movies. I'm going to read aloud the actor and the character, leaving out any too obvious details, and I'll start listing out more and more details. The first person to guess the movie title gets a point, so this is going to be one where people just shout out.
Is this all Bond themed or?
Not really. It's all like the man with the girl who. There's a couple of these that are more in line with like Dr. No, like Mr. Blank, Professor Butt. There's Professor Butt is one of them, but like that kind of thing. They're all like describing a person. The titles. It'll make sense, I think, for sure. I'll give a couple examples from the thing. So if I said Christopher Lee plays Scaramanga, that would be the Man with the Golden Gun. If I said Roger Moore plays James Bond, that would be The Spy Who Loved Me. If I said Joseph Wiseman as Redacted, that would be Dr. No. I will say there's at least like 1 or 2 that are just like not the man with the spy who, where it's just the man. There's like 1 or 2 I put in just for fun that kind of deviate, but so yeah, first person to yell out the title of the movie gets a point. So, this first movie stars Rooney Mara as Lisbeth Salander.
The girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yep, that's a point for Scott. That is indeed the girl with the dragon tattoo. This next film, I knew this was going to go quicker, so I got a little more of these than I usually do. Stars Leonardo DiCaprio as
the man in the iron mask.
Yep. Good job.
Sorry, guys.
I'm impressed.
The next film stars Robin Williams as Daniel Hillard. This movie was this is a 1993 film.
The Fisher King?
Directed by Chris Columbus.
Mrs. Doubtfire?
That's a point for Scott. As indeed Mrs. Doubtfire. This next film stars Michael Keaton as Jack Butler, a Detroit automotive engineer, according to the Wikipedia.
Jack Frost
is a 1983 film.
Oh.
It's
Michael Keaton.
It's written by John Hughes.
Mr. Mom.
It is indeed Mr. Mom. Next up, you're running away with it, Scott. Bernie Mac stars as Stan Ross, number 21, first base.
Mr. 3000.
That is, in fact, Mr. 3000.
Okay, I just want to say I knew that one right away because I believe either he's a brewer in that movie or it was filmed in Milwaukee. But like that one, like there's a reason I like as soon as I put him back, I was like Mr. 3000. I just knew exactly.
Tom Selleck plays Jack Elliott in this 1992 American sports comedy film.
Mr. Baseball.
That is indeed Mr. Baseball.
This isn't even cool at this point. Like, I feel embarrassed that I'm doing as good as I am at this point.
This next film stars Jimmy Stewart as Dr. Benjamin McKenna. It was directed by Alfred Hitchcock. It's a 1956 film. It is
The Man Who Knew Too Much?
That is another point for Scott. That is, in fact, that movie. People don't know Jimmy Stewart movies, I guess. Next up, we got Bill Murray as Wallace Ritchie.
Is this The Man Who Knew Too Little?
Yes, this is The Man Who Knew Too Little.
That's clever pairing.
This next film stars Billy Bob Thornton as Ed Crane. And it's a 2001 film directed by the Coen brothers.
Wasn't there.
Yeah, The Man Who Wasn't There. Next up, well, somebody's got to get one of these other ones. This next one stars David Bowie as Thomas Jerome Newton. Scott's giving everyone a moment.
The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Yes, that is in fact The Man Who Fell to Earth. The next film stars Steve Martin as Dr. Michael Hofferfer, which I think it's like it's a weird thing. I assume that's like the bit in the movie is that his name is stupid. Yeah,
The Man with Two Brains.
That is in fact The Man with Two Brains, Scott says shamefully. Next up, Bruce Campbell stars as William Cole. It's a 2005 science fiction slapstick film co-written, produced, and directed by Campbell himself. Any guesses on this one? It's if you can believe this piece of information, Ted Raimi's in this film.
Whoa! How'd you get him?
This is the man with the screaming brain.
That one passed me by.
Next up, Noomi Rapace plays Lisbeth Salander. In this 2009 crime thriller, directed by Niels Arden Oplev.
Is that also the girl with the dragon tattoo?
That is also the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah.
That is the original film. Everyone else does know they can guess, right? Mm-hmm.
I'm letting Scott get all the points because he is the man who knows too much.
Yes, yeah.
The next film stars two people play this character. Jet Klein plays young Brahms Heelshire, and James Russell plays adult Brahms Heelshire. It's funny. Bri gave me a look, and I kind of included this one for you, Bri, a little bit. I was hoping.
Oh, funny. Yeah.
You've definitely seen this movie.
I'm sure I've seen most of these.
It's a 2016 horror film.
Who was the character?
Brahms, young and adult Brahms Heelshire.
I'm sure as soon as you say it, I'm sure.
It involves a doll. A doll is involved.
What year again?
2016. I really want Bri to guess this one. It's got Lauren Cohen in it. You know her? She's in Walking Dead.
Yeah. It's still just not. Yeah, I just can't place what this is.
This is The Boy.
The Boy?
Yeah.
Boy? I don't think I know. Do I know The Boy?
I thought you've seen those for some reason. It feels like movies you would have seen. I don't know.
Yeah. Just looking, I don't.
Um.
Oh yeah, I know of this one. I don't think I've seen it though.
This next film stars Okwe Okpowasali as a mysterious figure. I can't say the other things because it might include words that are in the title. This is a 2025 American psychological horror film. It is I don't know what are good hints I could give.
Is there a director, did you say?
Yame Colette Sarah. I kind of know this guy. I feel like The Shallows, House of Wax remake.
Oh, that guy. What the fuck was that movie? I know what you're talking about. It was I think I just watched it recently. I can't think of what the name of it is.
What was the first clue again?
It stars Okwe Okpowasali as a mysterious figure.
It came out last year.
All right, I'm gonna reveal this is The Woman in the Yard.
Oh, that fucking movie.
Oh.
It was so boring. I wish the woman would have just done some more shit. She just sat in the yard the whole fucking time.
As advertised, hey, all they promised you was in the yard. They didn't say she was going to do anything.
No.
The next film stars Liz White as Janet Humphrey. This is a 2012 gothic horror film. It stars Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh,
the woman in the
black. Woman in black.
You guys. Well, Luna started
Did
first.
we say it together? Oh, okay, sorry.
Luna started first, so I'm gonna give it to her. And
that's fine.
Well, I also think I got the name wrong.
Oh, what did you say?
I think
I said the woman in the water.
Oh, okay.
But the woman in black is,
I think Bri.
Actually, the correct.
I'm giving it to Bri.
That alley-oop.
So it's of the work.
Next up, we have Spencer Breslin as young Rusty Duritz. As a movie also starring Bruce Willis, directed by John Turteltaub.
The Kid?
Yes, this is The Kid. I would have also accepted Disney's The Kid.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That is the title. I remember that.
And lastly, our last one here. It's a different website. This movie doesn't have a Wikipedia, so I had to use IMDb for it.
Okay.
It's taking a while to load. It's taking a little while to load this old IMDb page. I don't know why is it taking this long to load? Come on now. All right. This movie stars Justin Burfield as Bobby Taylor. Justin Burfield, people will note, is the older, not the oldest, but the older brother from Malcolm in the Middle. This movie also stars. I don't know how they got him for such a low budget movie, but Robert Carradine. This involves Justin and his uncle find some blank goggles misplaced by an evil crime ring. The criminals kidnap Justin, his uncle, and the feds, and Justin has to rescue everybody, which is the summary of the film, even though I'm pretty sure the actor's name is Justin and not the character. So, I don't know. But no one's going to get this one. This is the kid with the x-ray eyes.
That sounds like a badass movie, and I would pay to watch that in the theater.
So Luna and Jason, you guys get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Sorry.
Where's my alcohol?
Bri, you get a silver medal, and Scott a shameful gold medal. A gold an icky gold medal.
Man with a gold
medal. Scott, do you want to do your bit? All right, let's go to Scott for...
Hey, welcome to Scott's Comic Corner, brought to you by Eric Clapton and Slide Whistles. Slide Whistles. Do you want to make your action seem better? Slide Whistles. All right, so this week, one ending and two beginnings. First up, Rick and Morty Forever, the final edition of Omnipress's version of these comics. It was great. Honestly, as a finale, it really worked. It was something that I think... I remember thinking, like, oh, they could have used this plot for the final episode of Rick and Morty, or, like, I know they're supposedly going to make a movie. This could work as a movie. Essentially, Rick becomes a watcher, and he has to watch Morty, and he tries to use his powers to save him. It's funny. It's about the characters still. It was just a really good way to wrap up this corner of the universe of Rick and Morty. I'm not sure where they'll be going to next. I'm sure there'll be more Rick and Morty comics. The smart money is DC, just because Warner Brothers owns both DC and Adult Swim. That's not been confirmed. I'm going to assume it's not going to be Marvel, but it could definitely be a different independent comic. Nothing, like I said, nothing's been announced yet. But the Omnipress was fun. They actually had more issues. More comic issues than there are episodes of Rick and Morty. That was one thing they happened to mention. Good ending. I was happy to read it. The next up, my favorite writer, Ryan North, has a new Doom story out. It's Doom Quest. This is great. I think Ryan North really understands the character of Doom. He handles him very well, where he understands that he is evil and a threat, but also just kind of ridiculous, and like his egomania can be very funny. His relationship with Richards is very funny. It's a bit Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner-esque, but the stakes are very real. In this one, essentially, Doom decides that he is going to... Richards actually is the one who comes up with the idea of the time machine, but Dr. Doom creates it. It takes you back in time, but not as your physical person. Essentially, you possess the mind of someone back in time. So Doom plans to go back in time, and he's going to now shape history the way he wants it. And in the first issue, basically the Avengers, but mostly the Fantastic Four, stop him. They stop him by sending him back in time, and it's actually a really great cliffhanger and ending. Spoiler alert. He wakes up, he's not where he's supposed to be, and this is the final page. He's on the Titanic. Just shouting out, Richards! Which is very Looney Tunes-esque to me, but also a very fun premise, I think. This is going to be a 12-part maxi series that I think focuses on Doom. I'm excited about it, because like I said, Ryan North is one of my favorite writers in comics right now. I think he really understands these characters. I enjoyed One World Under Doom. I thought it was brought down by being not a very good crossover. This is not going to be a crossover. This is a standalone issue. It actually would take place before One World Under Doom. It's not a prequel, but just what's going on in like the Marvel universe right now. This would have to all have happened prior to any of that. So, I'm excited to see where this goes.
Cool.
And then finally, the big event for Marvel this summer is Avengers Armageddon, a series I was not going to read, but my the owner of the comic book shop really insisted that he's a big Chip Zdarsky fan. This is essentially, I don't know if you remember, back in May, Jed McKay wrote the final issues of his run of Avengers, which was 800, 801, 802, I think. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen next. This is what happens next now. It's going to be this storyline, and when this storyline's done, it's going to lead into Chip Zdarsky taking over the Avengers. This was more of a setup. They've been doing a lot of setup, which I've not been reading. Chip Zdarsky's been writing Captain America, I believe issues 6 through 11 led up to this. What you know from this is that Captain America's in a coma because he got beat up by Red Hulk. There's also a storyline called Weapons of Armageddon, Wolverine, which explains Wolverine's relationship with the new character from this story, a guy named Dave Colton. They haven't really explained him yet. He has super soldier powers. He can fly. Wolverine knows him. I'm sure there's backstories if you read this, but this one is really just issue 1, getting all the characters together. The main storyline is that after One World Over Doom, Red Hulk, General Ross, has taken over Latveria, and he's made it New America. And essentially, he wants to bring democracy to all the other countries by force, which really makes it old America, if you think about it. But Avengers want to stop him, but right now the UN says, no, humans have to stop him. We need to put, our fate into our own hands. We can't have, superheroes always saving us. And the issue ends with the Avengers deciding, fuck that, we're going to do that anyways. So that's where it's at. This is, like I said, this is Marvel's big, event of the year. So check it out.
Well, real quick. I finished it. I'm done with Chapter House Dune. I've read all the Frank Herbert's words he wrote about Dune. And guess what? It picked up at the end. And as much as I didn't like reading most of the book, by the end I was like, I wish Frank had been able to finish his Orgasm Witches trilogy. But because he died, because this was part 2 of a trilogy, and then he died. So I'm reading other stuff. But it ends. Can you describe what how the ending of that, Jason?
Oh, there's this couple who it turns out are face dancers, and it kind of has this twist ending that's supposed to lead into what happens in the 3rd book, where they're talking about something about the net that they lost someone in, and I don't have a clear memory of it. It's like a twist ending. These two are face dancers, and they were trying to manipulate something that didn't quite work out.
And it seems like they're watching what just happened, like it was like a story they were seeing or something. It almost feels like they're not funny Statler and Waldorf, and one character's having visions of them throughout the book, and then at the end we find out that they're watching everything going on, and you're just like, what? Weird stuff. I know me and Jason are talking. We're gonna start reading Brian, his son's books later this year, so we'll see how that goes. I love good motherfucking end of genocide, Palestine, Sudan, anywhere else. Anything? Got anybody else? I just wanted to say, saw Neil Breen's new movie. We'll probably talk about it more at some point in the future on this show. Dire Duplicity. Thumbs up. Two Breens high.
I just want to say one quick thing I forgot to mention. Avengers Armageddon comes with Magic the Gathering cards, because Marvel is getting into Magic.
Everybody is.
It comes with an exclusive card. So, and then speaking of Marvel and just other stuff, I saw the first half of Spider Noir, and I've enjoyed it. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I've been watching a little bit of that.
Watching the black and white version, I think that's the way to go. One thing I wanted to mention that I was really impressed with, that you kind of mentioned, the Marvel Netflix shows where they seem to wait until the last episode to become the heroes and stuff. This one starts out like it begins with him having put the costume away. And I was really nervous that, like, oh, we're not going to get Spider-Man stuff until, like, the last episode. But wrong. By episode 2, he's recovered the suit, and every episode features plenty of Spider material. So,
and also plenty of Nick Cage delivering Nick Cage lines.
Yeah, especially, I haven't seen, from what I heard, like, the back half is really when that picks up. But he's pretty good in the first half, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing it. It's a lot of fun. The episodes are pretty quick and easy to go down. Someone pointed out, and this is true, it's really more Spider hard boiled than Spider noir, because noir, like, there's very clear heroes and villains as opposed to noir where it's all sort of gray. But it's sort of baby's first noir, but who cares? It's Spider-Man in the 1930s. It's fun. So check it out. Yeah, Nicolas Cage, Spider-Man, 1930s. What more do you want?
There's 8 hours of Nick Cage Spider-Man out there you can watch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I watched the new Scary Movie the other day. Speaking of the epic movie reference earlier in the episode.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a really interesting take on Hollywood and parody movies, in a sense that it was not only parodying horror movies but also parodying itself. And overall, it is a good movie to watch in 16 parts over TikTok.
Right. The way it was meant to be seen.
You wrote on Letterboxd you gave a bad review and said it was a checklist, not a movie.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest issues I had with it, because I think the point was that they were gone for so long, and it's been like 16 years since the last Scary Movie, so they just had to like fill in everything with as many jokes as they possibly could. And like some of them were pretty funny. Most of them were very nonsensical, and all of them were, again, TikTok bits.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to watch this movie, I would recommend not doing it and instead just waiting until it's on DVD and looking up the K-pop Demon Hunter sequence.
Okay. Hell yeah.
That is my official take on the new Scary Movie.
I want to say James Bond Club is going to continue next month with Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, and The Return of the Man from U.N.C.L.E., the TV movie, which stars George Lazenby as the mysterious Agent JB. And when I say stars, I mean he's in it for half a second. I want to thank Bri here for composing our outro. I don't have to be... It is my outro, to be fair. Next episode, Summer Screams is coming back. We're going to talk about YouTube. The YouTubers are making movies. Obsession, Backrooms.
And they're doing very well.
They're doing very well. And we'll also talk about Disclosure Day, just because I don't know where else to group it in with. And, Steven Spielberg is also a YouTuber. The original YouTuber. Please follow us on TikTok and Instagram, CinemaCurse666. Smash that like button, like and subscribe. Share this episode with your friends. Share this episode with your local spook house manager, the guy who owns the spook house in the carnival. I think that's about it. Bye.
Bye, everyone.